Yesterday's title was Swastika in the Sky. I'm still not off of that topic. I wrote down, now for purging this, I'm going to start off this little poetry intro with purging isn't the like I'm going to purge the population. I'm talking about purging in relation to they purge after they took their peyote or their ayahuasca or the other things, and then they had a vision, is what I'm kind of going on there. Keeps on purging the pineal gland, the swastika in the sky. Keeps on purging the pineal gland, explosive diarrhea of the mouth, pay toilets for the masses while the laughing bidet their asses, adrenochrome browsers online, wayfaring children, given roofies, a one stanza town became a universe city to normalize the masses as the end time clock kept ticking till the Big Bang has its final ass kicking. They will no longer persist on insisting God never existed, but a new God will be fashioned and twisted, acting as if past ruins never existed, to build a caveman evolution centric model so the offering of child sacrifice could be restored for their satanic Baal worship. We do not give Satan enough credit for pushing abortion mentally upon normalized globe worshiping remnant. How to know if you have been targeted? Have you ever doubted yourself and decided what you really need is another piercing or another tattoo, or maybe you need to stretch your earlobe a little bit more? Oh, then you'd feel better. Then you'd feel better. After God proved I exist as flesh and blood, he tied my new understanding to a calling to hear the stones cry out. Prove to my own satisfaction every word spoken by Christ is true. True truth. When I say mission accomplished, I speak only for myself. Overcome the world of flesh for a reason. Overcome this world of flesh for a reason. Make it be Christ. Did you stress when you heard in school you had to take an aptitude test? That was planned. Where do the suckers work that get born every minute, RJ, so the grifters can get by satanically? That was supposed to be a big finish. Where do the suckers work that get born every minute so the grifters can get by satanically? I even wrote the part. RJ, I felt like that was a little over the top, but hey, man, how you doing, everybody? Welcome, RJ, the famous Randy from Wisconsin. It's always a privilege to have you, brother. And how are you?
Morning. Thanks for the invite. Yeah.
You're a regular shekel green. You're killing it. Paco Tuesday starts off with a banger. Hey, good. That's what I was hoping for.
Sure.
Yeah, because we got to do that stuff before we show the thing, man. There it is.
Yeah.
Now, don't take any advice from me unless you consider it coming from a guy that thinks he's Paco the prophet. So my medical advice is always going to be like, eat healthy, drink pure water, love the Lord. Hey, check, I got these other things.
For those that have a taste for salt, huh?
Salty. Where's that stuff at? Oh, the thumbnail. If I would have had more time, Here's one of those
Is
Epstein.
that Woody?
That's Woody Allen.
Woody?
Yeah, this is when they were so happy that him and Mia Farrow, the girl from Rosemary's Baby, adopted this girl. And they were so happy to have a new adopted daughter. Here they are the day they got married, I think. They're married now because they were in love. They fell in love and they got married. I was going to do part of the pedways,
Yeah,
the
it looked like
underground pedestrian tunnels that they made in Chicago, and see if they made some in other towns, but not really, only Chicago. I've been in these pedways, but usually it's just to go under the street. American food, the entire system is based on using poison. Bummer. But it's a
yeah.
catch, you got to use it to grow it because somehow we ended up with our main foods need it to grow. You've got to be Roundup ready.
Mm-hmm.
These computers, RJ, I like to nitpick. Okay, well, the computer goes, this is a mixture of steel, concrete, and the stone's dressing to make it look old. It's more than 100 foot long. That's longer than 3 pickup trucks lined up. Well, where do you get that for an example? How does that come up as like the computer? It's like,
It doesn't, yeah. As far as that description fitting this photograph,
right.
I would, that seems suspicious because it doesn't.
AI, what are you thinking? It's like, that is probably 1/3 of 100 feet, 3 pickups. Aren't they about 10, 12 feet, Oh, yeah, these are, so this is what, in case people were wondering, like when that Mini Turkel und Fassen was written on the wall by a hand that was just like, hey, where's the body for the rest of that hand? And they were drinking out of the Hebrew cups. They're calling those Persian, but I don't know. Maybe it was, they did like to drink out of the gold cups in Iran back in the day in the Book of Esther. I didn't look at it. Yeah. And they had silver coins too. That's Esther's husband. He doesn't look like that gay guy, that gay half demigod in that movie, remember the Crush the Titans, we are Sparta. It's this guy, the guy that goes like, boy, my first wife would not submit at all. I'm going to get a better wife. And he got Esther. That's that guy. Oh, no, man. Hey, look. The Egyptian document. So it's like, oh man, all of a sudden they're going to get everybody ready. This is February 1st, 2026. Get everybody ready for the giants and the aliens. And this is that same news story I think mentions about
scratch on the wall of a cave or something.
Yeah. And they mentioned, just that's I don't think that this science thing is from a Christian point of view. This is just something going like Bible's true. 3,300 years ago, there were giants. It was, and it goes right into, oh yeah, Genesis chapter 6 talks about the Nephilim, God, powerful villains, fallen angels, in a science magazine. It's right into the men of renown, And so, of course, it's going to be that same, fast forward to now, So there were 8 feet tall. It's like, wow, all that to get it really messed up. And then there was, Great Britain's news channel. Oh, now they've just decided to prove February 27th this year that the biblical disaster that struck at the moment Jesus was crucified is proven to be true. Wow, we better start watching out for the aliens. What are they? All of a sudden, Britain's newspaper to the world is deciding it's like, hey, let's put in a vote for Jesus.
Well, let me guess. They found the temple curtain, or what's their evidence? Or
well, it said here the Gospel of Matthew.
They talked to the people that came out of the graves.
I don't know. Here's another one from the Stacy Liberatore, U.S. Science and Technology editor. Bomb shell discovery again from this year, February
Last month.
27th. Now we got Noah's Ark. Proving that the 8 modern blood types are human. It's kind of crazy, in the ancient time capsule. Now you got it on this other one, wow, the Bible's true. The Iraq collaborates the Bible. We just found a time, just in time for Noahide law or something. And it goes all back. Look, Nebuchadnezzar, it's all real. We should do whatever they want you to do. It's like what they want you to do is go like Obama, Bush, and Trump. All of them right now are going like rushing to the gate to be the guy that said aliens are true. I'm the one who told you. February 25th. It was a busy week for J.D. Vance too.
They may be alien, but not in the sense that did have you to believe it.
If he was going to be elected president, he's going to get to the bottom of it, man.
Yeah, bottoms up.
There's Erica Kirk at her party, Biblical Womanhood. I took this picture because I didn't know. It's like, what's the 20 minutes for? Is that it's like, okay, when your speech stops, we don't want you to know. We don't want you got 20 minutes dedicated to this, and that's it. I'm done with the pictures, so that's all I got on the pictures. But I got this other stuff.
And this was at their Turning Point studio thing.
That was at the funeral memorial mass.
Oh,
because he's a buried Catholic now. He's buried in a Catholic cemetery. Yeah. So that was their mass. I think I have this queued up. He's going to say something important.
Help you. Transparency is the anti-privacy. Just understand that. Something that we found in the Epstein files is that people were able to take loans against their art, up to 50%. And crazy enough, at one point in the files, Bank of America was giving a 1% interest on that loan. So let's say you had a tranche of, let's say, $250 million worth of art that's been appraised and whatnot. That means you can borrow $125 million with 1% that you have to pay back. That is effectively free money. You could then take that 125, you could start new businesses, you could invest in the market.
RJ, what he meant to say is you could take that $125 million.
You could buy other artworks, whatever. You can start making that money work for you. And here's the kicker. The artwork that you have holding that loan, you got to keep.
Hey, you ever wonder how come, like, when presidents retire or when, like, Joe Biden gets in a little money crunch and his son's caught smoking the meth on the crack pipe with the laptop, he turns to art. They develop, everybody's an artist, and I love oil painting. And then all of a sudden, Hunter Biden's paintings are selling for $2 million. Do you wonder why? Somebody would go like, I'll buy it. I'll take it.
Well, yeah, I can almost imagine why, but yeah, does it? The logic behind that is so nefarious and evil that yeah, it works for them for a while. Yeah, until they get caught or something.
Remember my second year of university? Did you like that thing in the poem where I said, we're built to the one stanza of poetry that they built for us by a universe city. A university. That's where they teach us to be normalized. I think that poem yesterday with a little work could be punched up to be a real keeper.
Yeah, there's some.
But the art thing about Peggy Guggenheim and how they sold out at the top of Leadville, Colorado, which was called Cloud City. And from the very beginning, I've been saying they're trying to tie it into the Star Wars theme, the midichlorians, they introduced the whole religious Jedi theme. It's on right now. The Arlington Heights is Charlie Kirk's paradise. Anyway, the art world thing. Just another minute.
Yeah,
They
yeah, with Star Wars, yeah, in more than one fashion, between the handheld pocket, whatever communication device, and Scotty beaming everyone. Yeah,
right. They're phasers. When is my cell phone going to get a phaser? I want my tracking device to have a stun or hurt 'em option. You know what I mean? Anyway, the last couple of
something.
minutes, the last minute on this for the kicker is I just want to, listen for things like, like, so you got 125, he means 125 million, and he's talking about rent. He lives in New York City.
Well,
These
I
people
think he
live a
meant.
different world.
I thought he meant 125,000, but
No, he meant 125 million.
well, he
Oh, wait,
said
you could
125
borrow.
million.
Yeah, because you can borrow up to half of it, which
Right, and then you get to keep it.
yeah,
It's
and
not
your
like
interest is the
pledging
1%,
your
which would be
cloak or running
125,000.
away with your cloak. But yeah, it's
I couldn't afford this town.
So you still had the artwork. It might have had some financial ties to it, but you had the artwork. You could look at it, you could show it to people. Hell, you could even sell it and then sell it to pay off your loan. So that's an amazing thing. 1%. 1%. Most of my listeners, I'm going to assume, are people in their 20s to 40s. Most credit cards come at least 10%, if not 24%. So understand just how big a deal that is. 1%. That's
Now, there's a part in here, I hope I can catch it, where he says that most art is owned by LLCs, and you didn't used to have to declare who owned it or anything.
limited liability.
Yeah, it's a
the first thing I really want to talk about is this kind of Santa Claus-esque thing that people talk about the art world, that people only collect art because they love art. And I think it's time we all realize there's a lot of bullshit in believing that. And I think that if you've been kind of told that and you're led to believe that, parts of that are true, but parts of that are just not true whatsoever. And here's what you have to understand. Anyone who has, let's say, $16 million to be able to spend on a piece of art, well, they've been very fortunate in making that.
he's talking to a very specific group of people. You know what I mean?
Well, when it comes to laundering money, yeah, large amounts aren't unheard of.
Yeah, right. But when I'm thinking about investing in a piece of art, I'm thinking about $150 silver bracelet with turquoise made by a Native American. So this sky clock thing, RJ, I didn't get a chance to,
It's real.
Is it more than a sky clock?
Well, yeah, and that's where last night when I told you how I was thinking,
Yep.
whatever, and yeah, there's a lot there.
Oh, I meant to.
What everything has a reason, including everything up there doing what it's doing, and the throne, and who sits on the throne, and to think that no one's paying attention, you're rudely
This fractional reserve thing, this has got to be addressed by more people. Have to know that we're giving them the power to say, I just put $1,000 into your bank. I can loan $1 million. I can, or a 100,000.
Well, 100,000.
Yeah,
100,000.
and then as soon as they put some more in, I'll loan out some more. And fixing the economy, getting people to understand the sky clock, it does seem like we're up against it, RJ. We're not going to we're not going to convince the
Yeah.
whole world
Yeah, and
that
it's not. Yeah, and it's nothing new other than yet we haven't changed the way of looking at something, perceiving it, and then and like you say, is the scripture true or false?
I always contended the scriptures were true. And when I was first seeing these videos 10 years ago, I had to, I had already been bound to prove everything that Jesus said was true. And that's why this swastika in the sky keeps on turning.
Yeah, and whether they go one direction or the other, I'm sure that it means something to someone. But
Yeah. It's just showing all the countries where the swastika is. It looks like all
yeah,
of them, RJ. And I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, that was
So
long before the 19 whatever 20s or
yeah,
whenever
late
they
20s, early 30s. All Hitler did was take the swastika and turn it 45 degrees, and
voila.
voila, they all of a sudden it's bad. But how were we programmed with Indiana Jones? He saw a swastika and he said, "I hate Nazis." And I at that same time said, "Who doesn't?"
Then you had all them whys. Why? Why?
Why not?
War began. The swastika, along with the double-headed eagle, was still one of the main state symbols of both Germany and Russia. Somewhere during the middle of this war, Russia stopped using it as an official symbol because it was kind of ridiculous. Your symbol, your coat of arms, is what is supposed to.
So this it's less than a decade old. They're doing this stuff, and she was still putting it out. And RJ, the Lord put on my mind, we gotta, the Bible's what's true, not that aliens populated the earth and they're coming back later and whatnot. But it does come down to this situation here. If you're don't speak out against abortion and things like that, you're ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I don't know if you don't understand the power of God in creation, and that not only are we all going to suffer ridicule, but actual tribulation, persecution for his name's sake. It's part of, they don't like us that much because they haven't been changed. Their father is the father of this world, and they're cool with that, man. The wrath of God is hard to preach in our time, RJ, is it not?
Well, yeah, and as far as I shared that, Father. Until you're adopted, the reality is, yeah, if you want to call it the original sin thing, that's everyone lives, under that shadow until you come to the light of the truth of the matter, and then that doesn't mean you step out of the shed, but it's part of whatever process of what's going on with the ice cold dirt heart turning into
Ice
some
cold
sort
dirt heart. Oh man.
that gets changed. Um,
We got the
and then
wrath of God revealed from heaven, and it's pretty clear he's on the side of delayed gratification. And it's supposed to be
also,
plain. It's supposed to be plain to them his invisible attributes,
mhm.
tributes, divine nature, should have been clearly perceived. Here's the problem: the creation. They're
Yeah.
they're strong on evolution, RJ. They're strong. They love
Yeah,
it.
for whatever reason. They seem
The same
to,
reason with the globe. They
oh,
lie,
yeah,
and
also.
people of in quotes faith don't have a problem with. They don't really have a dogma. The only thing that keeps people out of heaven is not believing in the Trinity in the modern church world.
Yeah, and as far as you know, believing in all, the solar system,
Flat Earth.
universe, and all that, it isn't like God couldn't, make things in such a fashion. He just said, that isn't how he said he did it, for one thing. And there isn't anything in there that even hinkles to that he did. It's totally different. The sky clock, everything and he says for the reason for charting, and you can chart other stuff, but he advises against that.
I'm looking for proof, though,
Intentional
RJ.
purposes are okay.
I need more proof. I mean, I need proof because where's the proof? God has given them up to the lusts of their heart and to impurity. I mean, is there proof that people will,
Yeah, I think there
pay?
is.
Oh yeah, I guess they pay big money to say, "Will you dress like a French maid and then beat me half to death with a whip?" Oh yeah, sure. $10,000.
Or yeah. So yeah, what sort of bribery is accompanied with such a request? Again, that's maybe negotiable. Who knows?
Some people keep trying. This guy
Oh,
really
yeah.
is. He's a human. I don't understand, his picture in the background of like, we're going to fight for the Lord with, something the Bible goes like, you know what? Men wear their hair short. But this guy has short hair.
We
I don't
have to
think that's a
believe.
big
We
deal.
have to have faith. So we are blessed for having faith and believing in it. So it's really important that we do believe in what is written here. All prophecies have come true. All prophecies do come true. Okay, let's see if there's anything else I want to add to this. That was 22, 3 through 7. Let's go to Zechariah 14, 6 and 9, 11.
Let's see what he
Because
says.
he has more to add
Zechariah.
in relation to this.
The Mount of Olives, that all 127 feet of it, it's a bump on the ground. It's not a mountain. It's not real Jerusalem. It's so fake.
Okay, this is going to be 14, 6, 9 through 11. Okay. The sun and the moon and the stars will no longer shine, yet there will be continuous day. Only the Lord knows how. There will be no normal day and night. At evening time, it will still be light. Life-giving waters will flow out from Jerusalem. Here we go with the life-giving waters. And it says here then that the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord. His name alone will be worshipped. Jerusalem, this is interesting. Jerusalem will be on an elevated site. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited, safe at last, never again to be cursed or destroyed.
I don't want to get too much into those type of things, RJ, but we have promises that it's going to be good after we endure, after we are tempted to let go of the plow. That's what we have in our future, RJ. We're going to be tempted to let go of the plow. Would that be considered beyond the pale to you?
For losing focus? Because you're encouraged to endure.
What does it even mean to be beyond the pale? Yesterday I had two things I wanted to get to the bottom to. I wanted to finally, in my mind, settle what do they mean when the other shoe drops? And it's always about, well, something inevitable is going to happen. But what does that have to do with the first shoe? Because shoes usually come in pairs, and you're waiting for the the next shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, yeah. In
I
compare,
think that
unlike a nuclear blast, if you're within the vicinity, you don't need to wait around for the second blast because the first one was sufficient to
right.
take
I
out.
thought about it
Yeah.
every possible way, and I concluded that they're not talking about the shoes you wear on your feet. They're talking about the shoe they use for gambling in baccarat and some of those blackjack games where they shuffle multiple decks in and they don't it has to be fair. It's a very elaborate process. And when you're in the process of those people that do that high stakes gambling, maybe you're winning, maybe you're losing, but while you're waiting for the next shoe to drop, you're contemplating something. Because I don't care if you're Charles Barkley, you can bet famously and lose $250,000 in one bet. Most people aren't like that, and that'd be a big, big thing while you're waiting to see if I'm going to go double or nothing. Am I going to get out of it? And Beyond the Pale was the other one that well, that's beyond the pale. That's beyond the pale. And sure enough, the Lord put up a video that beyond the pale meant it came from outside the Jewish zone. Do you know that?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the pale. The pale is it was a place where people lived. It was the western region of the Western Empire. Huh. That sounds it sounds like Tartaria. Kinda. Until Russia was forced to go on the Gregorian calendar in 1917.
Okay.
It's where they allowed the court Jews to extract interest. They had to live in this area. That's not Tartaria?
What do you call easy money? Is that part of the?
Well, they had to get loans, and during the golden age of Christ, Christians.
Yeah.
So they found some Jews, man, and after a while, they started getting rich. So they said, "You got to stay in this area, the Pale." They called it the Pale. You can't go beyond the Pale.
Beyond the pale. Yeah.
This is where you live. It's like kind of Tartarian China, but mostly Jews in Russia.
Sure.
Kind of. Maybe that's too much. I should have said that maybe. There's a Jewish teacher in the 19th century. What? It's the historic region. It's the Pale, I think. Hey, bro, you got that Southern River? Anyway, these people all occupied. They came out. Their ancestors came out of the mountains that had been melted like wax, and some people had malfeasance on their mind. They weren't the good guys. They were the wolves in the sheep clothing. The town next to Arlington Heights where Charlie Kirk is from is Palatine. I used to live around there. So there's that. I thought that was interesting, the whole beyond the pale thing.
Yeah.
Because you really hear about what is the pale, what is the other shoe that
context
drops.
is-
Yeah, they're not going to give us a lot of that thing there. Here's where it developed, and they got their new paleo and neo Hebrew all straightened out. Got to rewrite the languages so that people can't go back and read what they used to say.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Harry. Remember, Iran is just a moment's notice away from getting that nuke.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year.
2025,
They have the wherewithal,
2018.
preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
Once
Wow. Holy cow. What did he say yesterday?
Saddam has nuclear weapons, the terror network will have nuclear weapons. Next thing you'll see is a nuclear bomb in the World Trade Center. If you take out Saddam,
What's this down below that 33 there at
I
the
don't know. It says something like Ghislaine, GHSLMNL, unknown,
Ministry? So
HHRY33. Ministry, something, yeah, you know. Thanks for warning us, everybody. I mean, RJ, what if Iran gets a bomb in the next 30 years? We've been warned. They're right on the verge of getting the bomb.
ooh, it's close. Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
moments
man.
away.
I don't even believe there is a bomb.
The FBI's own bulletin has noted that what appears to be loyalty can sometimes be a survival adaptation rather than consent. There's also what psychologists describe as power restoration. If someone enters a system powerless, aligning with power can feel like reclaiming control, even if it means replicating harm. That doesn't absolve anyone, but it doesn't condemn them either. Again, it just complicates the narrative. It's not black and white, is it? Not pure victim, not clear-cut perpetrator.
What is she,
Something
girl? What are you even yapping about?
Dangerously informed. Huh?
Investigators believe that Nadia herself may have been underage when she first became involved with Jeffrey Epstein. She later involved.
Oh, is this that pilot?
Deposition.
Yep.
Asked about that.
Describe.
In some police summaries, Epstein allegedly referred to her as his Yugoslavian sex slave, which is very disturbing, obviously. Years later, when that narrative resurfaced in media coverage, the idea that her family had sold her, Nadia's father publicly rejected that claim. He told reporters that he never sold his daughter. He said she left home voluntarily and that the suggestion she had been purchased was false. So now already
That just doesn't seem like a very good denial to me. I didn't sell her. She was 13, 14. She just wanted to leave. Okay.
Yeah, nothing to see there.
Nothing to see.
A police report describing exploitation, the father denying any sale, and in between, a teenager who entered Epstein's world and never fully left it. In 2008, when Epstein struck his widely criticized plea arrangement in Florida, 4 women were named as potential co-conspirators and granted immunity. Sarah Callan, Leslie Groff, Adriana Ross, and Nadia Mashinkova. So immunity isn't a verdict. It doesn't mean guilty, and it doesn't mean innocent. What it does mean is protected. Now, if the story ended there, a teenager became caught up in a messed up world she didn't understand, and then she was able to escape when Epstein was arrested, then that story would be sad, but it would also be complete. But the story doesn't stop here.
No, you know what? The story goes on, RJ. You know. Yeah, she didn't get dissuaded from hanging out with him after he was busted for the child trafficking. She decided he got out after that, he could do a work release where he could still go do his Epstein thing, but he'd have to go back at jail at night. And after the 6 months, he asked Nadia, hey, you want to learn how to fly jet planes? I'm going to need a pilot for the Lolita Express. That's weird, right?
Yeah, but to some that may. Yeah, sounds suspicious.
Yeah, we're getting dangerously informed.
At all. In fact, it really only escalates. The pilot. Instead of leaving, Nadia would become a pilot. Epstein paid for her aviation training. She trained at Palm Beach County Park Airport, which is a quiet executive airfield just minutes away from his mansion. Over time, she earned the certifications required to fly complex aircraft, including business jets. And eventually, she began flying Epstein's planes. You know, the plane that would later be branded by the media.
I'm putting her on 22 years old when she starts piloting the Epstein Express. RJ, I mean,
That's quite the resume. Yeah, there you have it. Yeah.
it's weird, man. We're in trouble.
Blood moon is shining overhead. That is certainly a possibility. If you happen to live on the Big Island, you're a photographer, plan for this as best you can, because it's, I think, pretty likely. And here we have an Earth focus map for this total lunar eclipse, so we can see how the visibility is across the globe.
That doesn't work on a globe. That works on a flat Earth.
So parts of the globe will see the penumbra eclipse, and
Yeah,
really it's not going to look all that different. But then you'll start to get a partial eclipse, as we can see here.
I got to
Then you'll
show the
actually get a
penumbra.
total eclipse right there. With line of eruption.
This is what he's expecting to be announced later today, that Kilauea is erupting. Where's that penumbra? Here we go.
And the sun. You can draw a plane between any point, but the Earth-Sun plane, the ecliptic plane, is very important for us. We see that the lunar orbit is inclined about 5.15 degrees from that. So there's times where it will intersect the ecliptic plane, and those locations are called the nodes. We have the descending south node, the ascending north node. So the moon is going up, and it passes through the ecliptic plane. That's it passing by its ascending north node.
And you're falling
and
backwards.
going down through the ecliptic plane. That's its descending south node. And which node aligns with the sun depends on where the Earth is in its orbit. So this lunar eclipse, it's the descending south node on this side, because effectively the Earth is on the other side of its orbit.
Yeah.
But the moon often is full moon, for example, here, when it's inclined well above the ecliptic plane. So that's why we're able to have moonlight shine. And
This guy's just driving me crazy. It has this one part where it shows Wyatt's blood looking like. And I thought I had it, but I guess I didn't. It's the diffraction, because you're really getting the reflection of it coming underneath.
Because it's going to be exactly along the ecliptic plane where it slices through. It has this inclination to its orbit. It's going to go right through. We will have the moon cut through, and
what you see isn't actually what's happening.
It's insanity. It's insanity.
And yet, they pull the rabbit at some point.
So these, what's been going on in the world? It does seem that, like, Ghislaine Maxwell and all their friends, the most famous people, and her dad, Jewish spy, some girls just go along with it.
Where did he get those pants?
It absolutely is.
Well, the letter then explains why the Bureau is writing at all. It references her E2 visa status and states, in or about February of 2021, Council informed our office of intent to depart briefly from the United States solely in connection with an E2 visa, which had March 25th.
And the whole deal with, like, even, when I hit my algorithm, for me, it would seem obvious that the whole deal with the Erica Kirk thing, let me go to my own history. Here's what, the rest of the world is their idea. Here's the world's takeaway of what they're going to say about Erica Kirk. She's a big phony. The whole traditional wife thing is wrong. She was trafficking children with Epstein.
Which claims it's designed to bring visibility to under-recognized charitable efforts and community contributors. After high school, Erica attended Regis University in Colorado, where she played NCAA Division II basketball for at least one season before transferring back to Arizona. She completed her undergraduate studies at Arizona State University, earning a bachelor's degree in political science and international relations. Later, she pursued a Juris Master in Legal Studies from Liberty University Online, a conservative Christian institution.
Jerry
As recently as
Falwell, who was implicated along with his son with being some pretty weird kinky stuff with the pool boys.
2025, she was studying for a doctorate in biblical studies. If Liberty University's
Charlie Kirk is still in high school at this time.
sounds familiar, it's because we did a documentary on the former Liberty University president, Jerry Falwell Jr., and his scandals with a pool boy. While she was busy in college, Erica made time to compete in beauty pageants. High-end pageants at the state and national levels usually consist of 3 portions for which contestants are judged.
Yeah, well, she was winning Miss Arizona. Charlie's still in high school.
The interview, the swimsuit portion, and the evening gown presentation with an on-stage question. Sometimes competitors will have to do a talent portion as well. Not only do high-end pageants offer a platform and prizes, but many provide scholarship opportunities. For example, the Miss America organization offers the winner.
If I could be great at one thing, I wish that I could sit in front of a mirror or a makeup mirror in general and spend more than just 20 minutes to a half hour looking at myself and actually take the time to put my makeup.
Compete for the coveted Miss USA title. The Miss Universe organization was purchased by Trump in 1996, which gave him ownership of not only Miss Universe, but also Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. After Trump's comments with Billy Bush leaked about how he liked to essay women, several former contestants, some who competed as far back as 19
So this is all Erica Kirk's
for
world.
a photo shoot or a hosting gig. I think it's important to view every day as an ideal day.
Yeah,
It's all about
portion of
Good morning, America. I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous.
That's Erica?
That's Erica, and they think her first husband.
Okay, I was going to say, that doesn't resemble Charlie at all.
Showcase it.
Sex sells. Babe.
Sex sells. That's me.
Different articles of clothing come with Bible verses written on them and battle phrases like the Lord's Army. Their signature sweatshirt reads,
So the world is ready to go up against Erica Kirk.
they said
man,
Noah was
any
a
day.
conspiracy with alcohol. In this clip from a reality show she was on called Summer House, which was filmed in 2018 and aired in 2019, Erica goes on a date in season 3, episode 11. While on this double date, Erica can be seen drinking what he preached. In 2018, Erica applied for a job at Turning Point
So he's out of college. He's 25 years old now, and she's 30.
USA, the far-right organization founded in 2012 that focuses on mobilizing conservative politics among young people, especially on college campuses and online. TPUSA.
The takeaway is that Charlie Kirk, and they're going to show him talking about how, women stay at home, raise their kids. They don't worry about their career. They'd show him saying some things that could be taken as racist, like he questioned black pilots. Did he get it because he was quoted? In different versions of how they met. It's suspicious as all get out,
Thousands of
man.
dollars once catering, security, staging, and guest accommodations are factored in. These details matter because from the outside looking in, Erica and Charlie were preaching simplicity, humility, and biblical values, but their actual lifestyle told a very different story. After the wedding, the newlyweds settled into a level of wealth most Americans will never come close to. They purchased a 6,800 square foot Spanish-style mansion in Arizona for $5 million.
Wow.
5 days after Charlie's death, Erica and Vice President J.D. Vance hosted The Charlie Kirk Show. Vance's involvement was widely covered in political reporting and interpreted by analysts as a clear sign that Turning Point USA was positioning itself as a long-term political
Okay. So the takeaway from the world is going to be she had every opportunity to be the traditional wife they claimed they were promoting. Instead, she stepped up and became the CEO, the CFO, the chairman of Where Are Your Kids? They're with the babysitter. So, how much of this is a coincidence, RJ?
Well, yeah, it didn't really get into how they collided or where their paths met and how they pursued what later is revealed as living the dream thing in a 6K foot, $5 million estate. Yeah.
Pretty comfy. It is.
Sounds like quite a dream. Yeah.
Right. And all I want to say is we're being set up. This is a setup. We touched a little bit on the glyphosate. Something that we import from China. So now Trump's on the initiative we got to call it a national treasure and we need to start making it ourselves. It doesn't end today with the eclipse, but it's all part of the same thing. There's going to be a separation. Eventually, their cities will lose their 5G. The silver is not going to go up to $5,000 tomorrow, but it's always going to be worth something. There are going to be people that make it. There are going to be people rescued at the end of this situation. Is there not? Where's the real hope lie? Go, RJ.
Yeah, there's a limited amount of sand in this hourglass thing. It doesn't go on indefinitely. It's all been revealed. Knowing and being able to recognize where we are in and on this biblical timeline. Yeah, these are biblical days. Nothing's changed there, but we are getting closer. Yeah.
And what we
the
have
grand finale thing, the rescue grand finale.
We have the grand finale waiting for us. This is going to go down exactly like the Bible talks about. There will be people, and we've studied recently what are they thinking? What are the great things that they did in Jesus's name that they think it's like, hey, wait a minute, what do you mean I'm not a part of the big deal? They're truly deceived into thinking they're helping Jesus, RJ. Some people are.
Oh, yeah. Deception has been quite rampant as far as recent. There was a time it wasn't quite in your face to the point of how it's has manifested, but
we've been a part of the Reformed Lutheran Presbyterian warning about the ecumenical movement, and since the 1970s, 80s, 90s, there's been that, well, maybe the Lutherans and the Catholics could get back together and the Presbyterians. And now it's happening because Candace Owen, Roman Catholic, Tucker Carlson, a lot of people are going like, we got to get back to the real church. There's going to be a religious, people are going to think, I'm getting back to the real scripture. And we're left out because we're not really into the Trinity. We don't find it in scripture.
You don't fit the normalization type mindset of being to go along on everything that is not biblical, to be in on that team. You can look around and say, look how large this team is.
Is there a chance?
And it is a wide road,
Is there a chance that through prayer, through Bible study, through persistence, we can reach out to where men today can start, kind of coming back a little bit towards in our own lives, we could speak out against abortion, but it's hard to, in a group of your wife's friends, be a flat earther, to be a person that is like totally into the Bible. Women, for the most part, don't make up the flat earth conspiracy movement, except for the ones that come out. I was a child, I was raped, and then aliens are real because I learned that. So we have a chance, but the odds against most people ever finding a traditional wife are hard. What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, as long as the gospel is still available, in its purity, there should be optimism and why not be optimistic? That's a pretty good that's I mean that there isn't any news that can surpass salvation.
Right. And our optimism is in our salvation. It is in our trust of the resurrection, of knowing we will be looked down upon, mocked, have our eyes rolled, because no matter what we tell them, if their eyes have not been opened and their ears have not been opened, it's going to be clicks and buzzes, and they're going to be able to look at your wife and go, "Really? Really?" And unless that wife is ready to go, really, it's the scripture alone that we believe, not your gay science of that men could be women, women could be born, doctors assign at birth, you know, abortion's bad, but it's not murder. It's a bad decision. It's not your best choice. That's the world we live in, RJ. And people are going to face decisions.
The advice, casting your pearls, to the swine, there's no advantage to be involved in that. But where there's ears that are receptive, there's still hope.
And for most women, the majority of which, and the majority of the people in the United States, voted for Hillary Clinton. Donald only won because of the Electoral College. They had the majority votes. The people were all behind her. And when people find out she never has their best interest of women in heart, she's a controlled puppet. She didn't get locked up. After that, she invited Trump to her daughter's wedding. They're all in on it. And that the women it's going to be hard for them to go. Everything she said was a lie, and yet I held her up as the person to break the glass ceiling. That's too much cognitive dissonance for the wide road.
There's a lot there.
Well, that's all I got for today. Anything you want to close with, RJ?
Oh, no, it's still one day at a time. That isn't going to change. But yeah, who knows what they have in store. We know what the Lord's will is, or we ought to be in tune to the Lord's will, and choose to do what's pleasing in His sight. Be involved in that. But,
and even if what I want the world to realize is we've succumb to the den of thieves, to where even our children are raised barely out of their innocence, of where they're to the point of where for $200 they'll dress in their underwear and give a stranger a back rub. That's how it innocently starts. They recruit other girls that in Florida for $200. Would you like to go give this old man a back rub? 2,000 girls did it.
Well, it sounds like easy money. And that's the attraction, the bribe, I suppose, to begin with. The deal maker has to,
The victims, these girls that dressed in their panties and bra to give the back rubs, they were millstoned. They're still down the wrong road. They're down the wrong road. They're not believing one thing that's going to get them to heaven. Are they going to be judged as hard as the people that millstoned them? They are not. They're still not on the right path.
Yeah, but the grooming to be normalized. Again, I don't think anyone's immune to it. But yeah, it still continues to go on. It's happening. But those that, how can we control it? Well, we probably can't control it, but calling it out when you see it is a beginning. Hopefully we can tap the brakes on that nefarious evil activity. But again, motives and intentions, there's a lot of different points of whatever way you're looking at the angle, and how there's a lot of ingredients to this recipe.
Yeah. I could slide here and point to the arrow that shows where the ampufugal lymphocanosis happens, and it causes condensation. It drips onto the black goo of our spine that activates some people's pineal gland towards God, but not everybody. And explain that it's a very narrow road but the Bible is a long, hard, complicated book that you never will be able to explain it only an hour at a time, 2 hours at a time, that we are living stones. We will be fit into the rock of our salvation. We've been given a chance to build up gold, silver, and precious stones, doing good works for his name, a lot of time in the face of ridicule. So we should do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to change. This is flat. The earth is flat. The golden age is past because the mud flood was Armageddon. That's how the Bible reads. Me and my friends find it impossible to tell you anything else because we love God more than the praises of men. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nakamain. Adios, amigos. From the Paco and the RJ and the border of southern Colorado and New Mexico. That's one way to say goodbye.